So, hello everyone, Brigitte from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I am so excited to be joining you all. It's just a beautiful community and what a wonderful opportunity for me to share with what's happening in little New Zealand. I also have a PowerPoint presentation which I'm going to share with you and speak to that. I'm just going to pull this up here. And hopefully technology will work for us. Yes, right. Okay, so the Café Aotearoa, New Zealand, started with a vision in late 2020 during the time of COVID, when everyone was like twiddling their thumbs and wanting something to do. And so repair appeared to be a wonderful activity to get involved in. And we also had time to develop a vision and a network. And this is the basis of our organization, really, that we all collaborate together and we actually interlink the different sectors. So we have the little repair cafes, all the local repair cafes you can see down here, and then umbrellaed by the national organization. And many organizations that are in the waste sector have joined us. And so we're collaborating with them. And we also worked from the very beginning with our indigenous people, Maori, and they do have a waste organization named Parakore, which basically means zero waste in Te Reo Maori, in the Maori language. And we have an agreement to bring repair in an appropriate manner to Maori places and businesses. We also, from the very beginning, recognized the importance of repair education, and that is something that repair cafes can offer, as well as connecting with businesses in the community, inviting them and offering them an opportunity to connect with the community, as well as for the community to learn about what repair options are available in their wider community, apart, of course, from the little repair cafes that offer a free of charge service. We also collaborating with two libraries, which I will say a little bit more a little bit later, also Menshed, Time Banks, and Makerspaces. And Consumer New Zealand, which is an organization that assesses products and provides information about this. And so we joined the international repair, right to repair movement as well. And I will elaborate a little bit later. And we're working together with local councils. So this is the ecosystem that evolved over time. And now we've been running about 3.5 to 4 years. And so I'll just share a little journey, how this sort of evolved. So we started with about 15 repair cafes in 2020, and we now have over 75 in different locations, and it keeps on growing. It's just really exciting. It's not a very big country, the main two islands that covers about 268,000 square meters, which is a little bit bigger than Great Britain and a little bit smaller than Japan. So that's the landmass, but we've got a lot of mountains and lakes and nature. So, population is very small with 5 million. So what we also did, we actually wrote a repair cafe manual, a handbook, and that is specifically for Aotearoa New Zealand legislation, which is very, very helpful. And so we talk people through it, and this is, of course, available online for them to access. And we also encourage repair cafes to support each other and learn from each other as well. So here, this is a typical, of course, photos that you can see with all the wonderful repair cafes. And I'd just like to acknowledge Martine Posma, the founder of repair cafes here, because it's just a fantastic concept that, as mentioned earlier, it just provides an opportunity to minimize waste and prevent it from going to landfill, build community resilience, repairing skills across cultures, across generations. It's just really a brilliant concept. Now, here also I'd like to mention that our government actually acknowledged repair as a option, within the waste hierarchy, and it's in the tier with reuse and upcycle. So this came into legislation in March last year. Although, policies and so forth, and you still need to be developed further. This year, we actually ran a feasibility study, our first one, where we collaborated, repair cafes, setting up in a tool library and makerspace. where we actually got some funding from a local council to have a repair cafe coordinator who were trained and then were able to run weekly repair cafes. And this was for the purpose to really mobilize and strengthen the existing community from the makerspace, the tool library, and also local community. And it's grown fantastically and it's been fantastic success. So we are just in the process of writing the report and then see how we can further this next year. Another development as well was bringing repair cafes to universities. It's been very successful with a particular university in Canterbury, which is in the South Island, which I actually will be visiting on Friday. So really looking forward to that. And it's just fantastic. It's actually integrated into the library there, into the makerspace as well. And so it has become an integral part of student integration, and it will be part of what every student is able to experience, and so through their time at the university. This is just a little bit. So we also, of course, collect data as most repair cafes do, right? And we joined the restarters. So currently we have, out of the 75, 52 repair cafes are registered with the restarters. Out of these, about 40 will actually enter the data of most of their events, right? So this is like a little snapshot, and we can say that this year, on average, 74% of the items brought to a repair cafe were actually able to be fixed within that time, which is very impressive, and this demonstrates the dedication and the skillfulness of our repairers. 17% of the items brought in were assessed as requiring spare parts, and 9% were identified as having to go to landfill or being recycled or reused or upcycled in some other way. So you can see, interestingly enough, in New Zealand, we have clothing and textiles are the main items that are brought into a repair cafe. That also indicates that repair skills are needing, we need education about mending skills and sewing skills, and this is what we're also starting to offer the community as well. And as you know yourself, during a repair cafe, the repair cafe visitor sits with the repairer. So during that process, they also learn the skills and hopefully will be able to, integrate this into their daily life and share it with their children, for example. Yeah, and of course, unfortunately, many people still buy very badly designed products, especially, small electrical items, and so they have a lower repair rate. Okay, so one important aspect also is how to engage with the community. So our operations is actually not funded, so everything grows organically. So there's no funds to put anything, into promotion. But we have got a lovely number of Facebook followers and Instagram as well. We are now on LinkedIn too, and we have a newsletter that comes out every 2 months. And as I mentioned, collaboration is the basis of our organization. So we are actually working together with over 50 businesses and organizations, and which is extremely exciting. And we offer our repair cafe coordinators to meet on a monthly basis, to meet on Zoom and share experiences and successes, questions, challenges, and so forth, and also resources. And it has been proven to be really, really helpful. And people just love this, talking and sharing with each other in breakout rooms and presenting, of course, as well. We go to festivals, several ones, and also participate in the Recycling Week and other, opportunities to engage with the community as well. Now, for the first time this year, we actually ran a repair festival, and where we invited, members from all the different sectors. So there were repair cafes. I think we had 48 events were happening, and repair cafes, repair education, repair workshops, repair business tours, maintenance workshops, and also some webinars. Particularly also on the right to repair, and featuring businesses that already produce repairable products. So this was really, really successful with, I think, 2,500 participants. and in person, and over 500 online at the webinars, something that we would like to see happening next year again. This year we ran our 4th Repair Summit. This is around the International Repair Day. And again, we invite the different sectors. So this is community, right to repair, education, councils, individual, local and regional councils, as well as businesses. And this was a very successful summit, which we actually shared with one of our bigger organizations. And so we actually collaborated and drew, audiences from both parties. And I think we had 19 in-person repair cafe events in that time as well. One important thing that's happening for New Zealand right now is that we have the first bill that concerns the right to repair. And this is was the Consumer Guarantees Right to Repair Amendment Bill. And it has been pulled from the ballot and is waiting for the first reading. And so this builds on our organization's petition in 2021, submission 22, oral submission to the Select Committee 23. And now we've got this first bill to be presented. And how we work with this, sorry, I'm going to go back, is that we actually have a page on our website, and we have designed a letter that you can write to your MP. And so we are encouraging people to personalize this letter. We're also, of course, encouraging repair cafes to invite their local MP. And we have heard from Parliament that actually MPs are talking about repair cafes and their visits there, and how much they enjoyed it. So that's really, really lovely. So hopefully they will progress early next year. And then we can see this bill move to the Select Committee, where it can be thoroughly examined, and we can also contribute to public submissions. Now, research is one important aspect that we are encouraging as well, and we are fortunate enough to have built relationships with several universities. So, but this is our second repair survey. So last year we ran as well, and this is now done through a marketing company, which we got some funding for, which was really fortunate. And we're looking at the motivations and barriers, of repair. To repair in New Zealand. So we are currently, so this is very early preliminary results that I'm just sharing with you there, and we're currently sort of formulating a report, which also will be shared on our website, just looking at what is the practice of people currently, what they do when something is broken. And it was really nice to be able to see that actually now over 40% of people are aware of repair cafes, just within that short period of time. Very encouraging to see, and also for people to have the intention to repair, and are actively looking for places to repair. So this is my final slide, just to, when we go back to the first slide I showed you of the ecosystem. So over this period of time of 3.5 years, some fundamental and pillars have evolved. So these are our 5 pillars here. It's the repair cafes, very strong community built, and also the right to repair, where we have a coalition that leads this movement. And we have probably about 50% of the repair cafes are actually actively supported and financially supported by local councils. And we would like to see this evolve and develop more next year. And we've got some ideas on how to do this as well. We're also now in public libraries and resource recovery centers as well. The education sector and also businesses are pillars that we are currently strongly developing with programs and also sharing with businesses. For example, we run repair parties or encourage businesses to run a repair cafe with their staff as a staff development day. And we've just recently done this, and it's very successful, and people just really totally enjoy this. And so we are a trust now, which is called the Repair Network Aotearoa. And so this gives us the capacity to hold all these pillars and support them with individual funding applications, and also hopefully develop their own projects that contribute to the financial sustainability of the organization. So thank you very much. This is just a little snapshot from New Zealand for you to be able to share, and really appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, looking forward to hearing from Suzie as well. Kia ora. Thank you.
Excellent. Let me see if I can do this. So this, yes, that's fine. This is a wonderful, everyone can hear me, right? It's good. Wonderful synergy, because we have a very similar network here in my region, which is the Hudson Valley area of New York. Just it's very similar in terms of how we operate. Obviously, things are different because we're just a part of a state in this, United States. But it was really lovely to see that, Brigitte, and it really is. It's so interesting to see sort of how things evolve similarly, right? It's like that, So, so I'm just presenting today. I'm the coordinator, as Brigitte was talking about. They hired a coordinator. I'm a hired coordinator for. It's coming up on 2.5 years now for Repair Café Hudson Valley, which is a group that was started in 2013 by John Wackman. And repair cafes, as Brigitte referenced, were started by Martin Postma in Amsterdam in 2009. And he lived in New Paltz, New York, which is an hour and a half from me. I'm closer to the city, so about 2 hours north of the city. And he read an article in the New York Times about it, and it, like it does for many people, it spoke to him. So he flew to Amsterdam with his partner and didn't tell her she was going to be working. And so she was then all of a sudden fixing jewelry without any, and no one spoke Dutch, but everyone speaks English. So, and really got involved, and he brought it back to New Paltz. And from there, it has spread to this enormous network. Unfortunately, John died suddenly in 2021, which was during the pandemic. And so a little bit of institutional knowledge was lost, but with all these organizers and all, we were able to really gather as much as we could. And let me see here. And hire me, and I'll talk about that process too, because it is crucial to a movement like this if you're going to have someone. I mean, we were fortunate. John was at a time in his life that he was able to volunteer, but that's not always a possibility for other people. So we'll talk about that. So I just wanted to say this one little thing, because we're talking a lot about repair cafes, but I also want to give props to all other repair events, which might have a different name and a different format, but are equally valid. And it gets confusing to people. And I think the term repair cafe gets used a lot, but I just want to say a repair cafe is run locally. It's free. It's volunteer run, and it's referred to as a community repair event. Typically, there is often coffee and or snacks. That's part of the cafe. That's the hospitality. It's branded as Repair Cafe for a one-time €49 fee to the Repair Cafe Foundation, which is a nonprofit. And you get then a startup package of documents. But as Brigitte referenced, it's not for your country necessarily. And so that, that was something that we took on. But there are over 3,000 repair cafes worldwide. But there are other community repair events, and in other sessions, you're going to hear about them. Certainly, tool libraries sometimes run their own fix it. So I like to really, we're all together in this. We're all connected, even though we might have a different model or a different name. So just Fix It Collective, Fixers, Fix It Fairs, Repair. I just wanted to mention that. In our network, we are all repair cafes because that was the model that John saw, and that's what he used. And so that then spread. So, but I just want to give that little shout out. So this is a map of our current cafes. This is the Hudson River here running through it. You can see there's some that go a little further. It's really, so these are just the different, we had to stop even using by county because the capital region in Albany is like 5 counties in one, so that's sort of how we have done it. And at this point, the end of 2024, there are 68 different locations holding repair cafes in our network. And so one of the questions that I'll drop in on these third Thursdays and we'll talk, and everyone's like, why so many here? And of course, the answer first was John Wackman, because he was a volunteer and created this first coordinator position. But since then, they literally collected cash donations at a memorial service for him to hire someone to continue his work. And at this point, it's still donation, but also I officially work for a nonprofit called Sustainable Hudson Valley. That's who is in charge of the program. And I am paid through grants that they receive and write. So, and I also work on the grants. But then the other answer is this something we have in New York State called the Climate Smart Communities Program. And someone is going to be speaking tomorrow, and I'm going to be moderating about that program. So if you're in a state that doesn't have something like that, you might want to go to that talk because she's going to talk about that. There are certain rules, and so you have to do certain steps along the way. But if you do 2 cafes in 5 years after you've done those other steps to become a climate smart community in a state where they have a program like that, and apparently there are 3, you end up getting points for your town, which eventually translate to money for your town. So I know in my town, they got a big grant and they're talking about putting solar panels on the senior center. And, it's so that is one of the reasons New York has come out so strongly in support of this. However, Eleanor will also give credit to John. His enthusiasm for this, and people would come and they would see what it was, and they're just like, I love this. And so it spread from there to literally, I have people 2 hours away who founded their cafe because of him. And then it just keeps spreading. At this point, it makes me a little sad that people haven't even heard of him who are still very involved because it's just exponential growth. Click off there. Okay. So just a little example. We had 18 cafes. So that doesn't mean locations, but actual cafes, right? We have the 68 locations. We had 18 cafes in November. This is the calendar. It's getting really crowded. I'm having challenges putting them all on the calendar. We'll talk about that in a second. And 2 were new locations. So that's what we do. That's one of the things that we do for our cafes. And I'm going to talk about how we set up our network. So it's a model for if someone wanted to do something similar. So, and I just want to say the pain of saying no, boundaries are good. It's really hard to say, a lot of us come from that volunteer spirit and obviously want to do this because we want to help and it's a little Schindler's List, when it's like at the end of the cafe and you just want to fix one more thing. So, but we are really trying to sort of say, well, if you're in our current county or maybe a neighboring county, we finally decided that this little tiny lake called Lake Tier of the Clouds, and that apparently is like the headwaters of the Hudson. So we're like, okay, that's it. Nobody north of there. Or obviously anyone grandfathered like Sullivan County isn't strictly Hudson Valley, but it's fine. But we will still, as will this whole community, and that's one thing they're working on, help anyone who wants to start a cafe. I actually have documents that I've created that are for people outside of my area, but in New York State or outside of my area and not in New York State, different resources that I can share. But also one of the projects of the Repair Economy Summit folks is putting together shared documentation and drive and information for people to use. But so even if we say no, we say, but no, and. So how we work is we're not as, I'm not a graphics person, so I'm not as we haven't gotten everything. I'm a real text person. So we took John's book, which he co-wrote with Elizabeth Knight, and it has a chapter in it called How Do I Get One of These in My Town? So in the past, we always said, go to the library, right? Go to the library, get this book, read chapter 7. How do I get one of these in my town? But it just became, things have changed even since he wrote that book in 2021, so I have now a paper document that I share with everyone that just has all the steps, but it also will very specifically within our network reference, follow us on Instagram at this link, do this, join this, so it makes it just really step 1, step 2. So the first thing I do is send them that document. I call it Welcome to Repair Café Hudson Valley, and they need to read it. And then they need to understand what's entailed and agree that I support, but they organize. So in other words, I can support 68 cafes because I only organize the one in my hometown. Everyone else has to have a team. I suggest a team, not just a single organizer, but it depends on if you know yourself and your abilities. But, once we identify a team, then we can go and start a cafe. And again, I work for Sustainable Hudson Valley. And we have 2 models at this point, and this has come from growth and, growing pains and all. It started very just with John, everyone loved John, but now you have to be careful and you have to, so we came up with this where we have one, which are member cafes, where they signed an MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding with SHV, just a little more formal. And that then what that gives them is access to SHV's 501c3 status. And I'm going to be talking tomorrow with someone else about the benefits of a fiscal sponsor. And so that gives certain benefits. And then the partner cafes is a more informal association. They don't have access to our status. And all that changes is they can't get grants through us. We don't give them insurance. We don't take donations and then run them through them, right? If someone, I only have a check, well, if you're a member cafe, you can write that check to SHV and we'll kick it back with a memo that it's for the Kingston Cafe and it will go credited to them. But otherwise, we can't do that for 68 cafes. It's too much paperwork, it's too, unless we sign. So that is what we're doing. But having said that, we're still providing all of this to both sets for free. So in other words, we don't charge, I get paid, everything is that's how we do it. So this is sort of what we offer then, which is very similar to what Brigitte was talking about. I'm the coordinator, so I'm here for any question. We have a Google organizers group, a private group where we can all ask each other questions. We have a very big shared resource drive, right? So that's all there. And on there is basically all the things we rewrote for New York state law, like the house rules, because it's great to have house rules, but if it's not applicable New York state law to actually cover photo permission and use, so we had that rewritten, and then we have a website. It has an external calendar, and each cafe gets a web page, so then they don't have to do anything else. They can, of course, start their own Facebook or have them, but we create that for everyone. We have an internal calendar where we're always sharing dates before so that people can say, oh, I guess I shouldn't have mine that day because there's another one 20 minutes away. So that's how we organize so that things aren't too competitive because our areas can overlap. We have a monthly Zoom for our organizers. I make that calendar that I had sent out and that gets distributed widely, and then everyone else does their own local PR. I send out a monthly newsletter, and we're up to about 1,300 as well. And what's so nice about the network is that everyone knows they're welcome at every cafe. We never check a license. We never look at an ID. We never ask if someone's from the town. Everyone is welcome at any cafe. You don't have to be from New York. You can come visit, whatever. And so what ends up happening is, here's our calendar. You go to Yorktown, they diagnose you, they tell you what part to get, and you could go next week, I don't know, wherever you want to go. You go to New Paltz, just depending on what's available. So, and all of the organizers know each other, and a lot of the fixers travel quite far. I, of course, go everywhere, almost everywhere. I try, but the other fixers will have a large circle, and then all the circles, so it really is this lovely community and of support. So, but also, oh, Dan worked in this last week, but Ken can work on it next week. We know who's who and who can do what. We also have the Repair Cafe Facebook and Instagram, which has a pretty, it's again, someone from down here might not want to go 3 counties up, but they might have a second home, or they might know someone, or they might want to go visit for the weekend. So, it's a lot of stuff you have to sort through, know your area, but it's been fun for me to get to know the Hudson Valley. We send a very simple reporting form. We have not been able to get better metrics because it's very difficult to chase people down, but we're working on it and thinking about it. But we send a very simple reporting form, and I can say we also do a 75% fix rate. And also often then additional things get fixed with advice or pieces purchased. We give everyone a logo. We take the Repair Cafe logo and we just give them town name and their county, just so they can have their own logo, even though it's the official Repair Cafe logo, which everyone recognizes. And we do skills training Zoom workshops, which are available on our Repair Cafe YouTube for everyone. But we did one for, it was amazing. It was a zipper fixing workshop, which was about the zipper box and almost more like mechanical or jewelry fixing than replacing a whole sewing zipper. And so, because that was really an amazing thing to be able to share with people. And we actually had someone who's a watch fixer and jeweler, and he did a watch battery replacement. And so that's given me the confidence. I asked all my questions, and now it's on. So a lot of our jewelers are able to do that, because we get a lot of requests for that kind of stuff. The environmental impact, these are simple metrics that we held. Okay, we're going to lose in a minute here. I can't get rid of this. 69 cafes in 2022, then 130, and then this year we held 158. Average of 40 guests, 60 items, 75% fixed. And then I think almost done. Just some pictures. We just fixed everything. Our biggest fix is lamps, electrical stuff, actually. And then I am working on a New York State community repair database of all things, not just cafes, but fix-its. If anyone has one or wants to, please reach out to me. We're trying to do that for the DEC and, just trying to get New York State repair kind of supported. And that's my contacts. Thank you.